Welcome, everybody. Woohoo! So today I'm going to be talking about tools and resources for entrepreneurs, especially if you're bootstrapping your business. So if you are starting from the ground up, I'm going to take you through a whole bunch, well, not a whole bunch, but some key tools and resources that I highly recommend for the different stages of your business. But one thing that I can tell you is that you have to choose your tools carefully, but not so carefully that you get so uptight about the tools that you use on your business and you spend more time at the stationery store than at your writing table, because sometimes we can get boggled down in like, what's the best tool? What's the best thing that I can use for my business? And you can get into analysis paralysis and not actually work on your business. Trust me, I've been there. So, hi, I'm Karla, and I am a business tools addict. Trust me. Hi. If there is a tool out there, I have tried them all. Well, not all, but I've tried a fair bit of tools to try to help me with my business, to automate things, so on and so forth. I love tech, when tech actually helps in the business. And I've tried a lot of things. So I've tried a lot. So I'm going to give you a bit of an agenda. I'm going to talk about tools that are really good if you're at the pre-startup phase. So if you haven't started your business yet, what are some things that I recommend? If you are starting up already, and you're kind of getting in the swing of things, there's a few tools that I recommend, and the same for scaling up. So if you have a business, you're already generating revenue, and now you want to kind of take it to the next level, there's tools for that too. So let's talk pre-startup tools. First and foremost, this is if you're just having an idea, and let's say there is a loan that you want to tap into. And especially if it's from a financial institution or from an organization, a lot of the times as an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, they're going to want to see a business plan. And this is sort of like like the first brick wall that we experience. Like, what is a business plan? How do you write a business plan? I've written many business plans in my life. And there is this little tool that it's from Futurepreneur, which is an organization that lends money to youth under 39 years old. And on their website, and all this information is going to be shared on the back end of things from the member site. But there is, on the website of Futurepreneur, they actually have a tool that is a business plan writing tool, and it's the best one out there. So how it works, it's free. And it starts asking you questions, literally. Like, it starts asking you questions about your business, and the answers start populating a PDF file that actually becomes your business plan. So a lot of organizations and institutions love this because it gives them exactly the information that they're looking in order to finance entrepreneurs. It's also good to have a business plan. So it really breaks it down in all of the main sections that a business plan should have. So, and it's super easy, super user-friendly. And again, sometimes you're like sitting in front of the computer and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to write. So this tool actually asks you the question. So it prompts you. So then it's easier to actually start writing it. So highly recommended. Now, let's say you don't want to write a business plan, because usually a business plan is an investment of time and energy. And let's say, you know what, I just want to have like a little side business, nothing too complicated. I still recommend you create some sort of planning. The easiest would be a business model canvas. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, which is a business plan in one page. It's a very, I'm not going to say simple, because there's still some strategy around it, but basically you divide the page in 9 sections. And each section is a question that you need to answer, that you need to know for your business. Kind of like, what is unique about your business, and what's different from your competition. And then who are the clients that you're looking to go after, and how are you going to reach them? So a lot of the times we get super excited about our business that we don't think about those things before we start. How are we going to reach our clients? It's kind of something that we find out as we get going. So if you're just starting the business, I highly recommend you take some time and create your business model canvas. So there is the strategizer is the tool. They have lots of tutorials and they have lots of templates for you to play around with. So super important. Now, this is probably one of my favorite websites. I love numbers, but Canada actually, and I think I've taught this, some of you have seen it, some of you may not have. But basically, if you are wondering, let's say you want to open a tutoring company, you want to tutor kids for math or whatever, and you don't know if tutoring is actually a viable business, you'll actually go onto this website. It's the government of Canada that has surveyed hundreds and thousands of businesses across Canada in different industries, and they've seen their financials. So you can actually get an average on how much does a tutoring company make a year, what are their expenses like, are they profitable or not, and you can break it down by industry. So you've got, if you want to open a restaurant over here, my friend, I would highly recommend you take a look at these numbers. You probably intuitively know a lot of these numbers, but these are actually averages of businesses that when they file their taxes, like their corporate taxes, basically what the government does is they enter all of this information and they create benchmarks so that somebody who wants to open a business and wants to find out what are their expenses like in a restaurant, a lot by the way, but what are they like? This website will tell you on average what they will be. So you go in with your eyes wide open. So this is a fantastic website to kind of take a look at benchmarks in terms of expenses, revenue of other businesses in the same industry that you want to open in. And it's really cool just to help you prepare for your own and to make sure that you're going in with your eyes open. This is really cool. I'm not going to say fairly new because it's probably like 4 years old. But this is, if you're ever looking, sometimes we get into the Google rabbit hole. I want to look for grants or I want to look for funding. And then you just start Googling. Well, the government of Canada has this new website, newish website, which is the Business Benefits Finder. And it's a platform that it asks you, it's very easy to use too. Like I'm looking for, and then you'll get a drop down here where you can tell the drop down what you're looking for. You're looking for grants, you're looking for mentorship, you're looking for business opportunities for my business. And then there's more questions. I am of this particular group. I'm a Black entrepreneur, I'm an Indigenous entrepreneur, and it basically will tailor down what are the different benefits that you can take advantage of, depending on exactly what you're looking for and which group you belong to. So here you will, it'll give you a list of, if you're looking for grants or loans, based on the information that you put, it will give you targeted opportunities for you. So this is a very easy way to avoid the Google rabbit hole and to know so basically everything is under one roof. So this is actually a really, really cool website. It was long overdue and it keeps getting better and better. So you will find grants, you will have job, if you ever want to employ people, there's employment wage subsidies that you could potentially benefit from. There are scholarships, there's a whole bunch of information. So I highly recommend you take a look at this. And this would be for pre-startup, but even if you're looking to scale your business, there might be something for scaling businesses too. Okay, so this Canada loves licenses, regulations, rules. We're a very structured country when it comes to permits as well. And some permits and licenses might be municipal, might be a city thing. Others, you might have to apply for it at the province level. Others might be a federal, depending on the industry and the stuff that you do. So it can get a little overwhelming. So bizpal.ca, basically it's a website where you will find out everything depending on the type of business that you have and where you live. And it will give you everything that you need, you know? So if you're opening, again, I'm going to go back to the restaurant. If you want to open a restaurant in Ontario, it will tell you exactly what are the permits, the licenses, all the requirements that you need. So it actually simplifies the search process. So super, super, super easy. I love, love, love BizPal.
It's so hard to even just like set up at Ripfest. It's insane.
Yeah,
You
so,
have to apply like a whole year in advance.
oh my God. Yeah, so, the cool thing about BizPal is that it takes in consideration the entire country. So you will, like, even if you want to open something in Quebec, which can be a bit more complicated sometimes, it'll tell you what you need, which is pretty cool. Okay, so this is another thing. I mean, you guys have ADAAWE. ADAAWE is fantastic. You know, it's a fantastic hub for entrepreneurship, but there's more out there. So I'm not saying don't come to ADAAWE, but I'm just saying explore what other offices and business development offices are out there. These are called, every main city in Canada actually has something that's called the Small Business Enterprise Center, SBEC for short. And what they are they're usually city-run organizations that all they do is help entrepreneurs of all walks of life with work very similar to ADAAWE, workshops, connection, mentorship, coaching, and opportunities for selling, so on and so forth. So again, it's like a public library for entrepreneurs. So if you ever move away from Ottawa and you end up moving to a different city where, let's say, ADAAWE doesn't exist, check what is your closest small business enterprise center, because we pay for those types of services through our taxes, so we might as well take advantage of them. In Ottawa, just so you know, the Small Business Enterprise Center is located at Invest Ottawa. So Invest Ottawa has the Small Business Enterprise Center. And there you can access workshops, events, more free business coaching by different business coaches. You can access programming, a whole bunch of stuff also for free. So again, this is in Ottawa. If you're in another city watching from home, go online and check where is your local Small Business Enterprise Center and check out all of the programs that they have available for free. So this is really cool. It's also really cool for networking. Okay, so I get asked all the time, okay, what are the books, if you like reading, what are some of the books that you can recommend? So if you are at the pre-startup phase and you're fairly new in business, this book is awesome. It's called The E-Myth. Super easy to read, but it has a lot of really cool golden nuggets on how to set up your business in a way that is sustainable, where you're not gonna end up doing everything. Right? Sometimes at the beginning when you're starting your business, you're everything to the business, but how to set it up in a way that once you start growing, you don't have to be the one doing absolutely everything. It's a fun book. Highly recommended. They have the audio version as well. If you're like me, I cannot sit down to read a book. I'm ADHD. I need to be doing something while I am listening to a book. But it's a great little book, and it's a fun read too. Any questions so far? Now we're good? I'm gonna plow away then. Okay, so now let's talk about startup tools. So let's say you're past the pre-startup, you're like, okay, so I'm ready. I'm ready to start. This, things getting real right now. So how do you register your business? You can register your business in many ways. You can go to the province, in Ontario, it's ontario.ca, and register your business that way. But Owner, it's it's an online business that actually helps you register your business, whether you want to incorporate it or you want to do a sole proprietor. And it's much cheaper, especially incorporations through this website are way cheaper than through a lawyer. They're super nice. There's actually like a chat person that's always helping you if you don't understand something. If you're doing a sole proprietor, it's kind of crazy. It's actually cheaper than registering through the province, through Owner. So if you're at the point where you want to officially register your business or incorporate your business, take a look at these guys. They're legit and they're extremely helpful, and the prices are really, really good. Okay, so for product-based businesses, one thing that you're always gonna get asked, especially if you're wholesaling, is margins. So it's like a little word, like what are your margins? You know, how are you selling this and what margin are you getting? Sometimes calculating margins is a little bit complicated because it's different from markup. It's a different calculation. So the Omni calculator, it's an amazing little tool. So if you are into a product base and you want to see what your margins are, go to Omni calculator. I think it's omnicalculator.com, and then margin, look for the margin calculator. And it just makes it so easy for you to calculate your margins. Like so easy. You basically just put how much it costs you to make it, like cost of raw materials, how much you are going to sell it, and then it does its calculation. It tells you, okay, you're selling at 30% margin. It's really cool. It's really, really good for product-based stuff. So there you go. Margin calculator, really good for product-based companies. Okay, so now let's say so you started your business and now you're realizing that you probably need some contracts, or you probably need some waivers for your clients, and you want to make sure that, or if you're a photographer, you're going to have a waiver. Like there's going to be a whole bunch of little things that you might think about where you don't necessarily want to hire a full lawyer for $200-300 for 30 minutes, because the lawyers can be very expensive. So Good Lawyer, it's awesome. So Good Lawyer is a Canadian startup. It's a tech startup. They're out of Alberta. But basically what they did is they got lawyers from all over Canada, and it's an online lawyering service provider, depending on where you are. And their prices are insane. So, and they're very transparent about how much you're going to pay. So you go into pricing. Obviously, I'm not in a computer right now. This is just a still photo. But when you go into pricing, you know exactly how much it's going to be. And look to pay about, I would say, 50% less or more, or like 50% to 70% less of what you would pay with a regular lawyer, like in a lawyer office. Why? Because you're not paying for offices, you're not paying for staff. Exactly. So there's no overhead here, and they're awesome. And when you go into practice areas, it will drop down to, okay, if you are an artist, or if you are a food business, these are some of the potential things that you might want to think about when it comes to legal stuff. And they have a whole bunch of information that you can look into. It's actually a fun website, believe it or not. So if you ever need a lawyer and you don't want to spend so much money with lawyer fees, if you want to incorporate and use a lawyer, you can do it through here too. But what I love about these is that they're very, very transparent about their fees. Very, very, and very extremely reasonably priced. Okay, so there's going to be situations, especially if you're doing markets. Sometimes the market organizers will require you to have insurance, to bring your own insurance. If you're a service provider, you will probably need to get some insurance to go to homes and have like slumber parties and whatnot. So there's going to be situations where you will need an insurance. Looking for insurance, trust me, it's the worst activity anybody could ever do. It's frustrating, and you're dealing with different insurance companies, and you're trying to compare prices, and they're not getting back to you. Everybody wants to sell you more and more insurance. Zensurance, again, it's a tech startup, Canadian tech startup. And basically all they do is commercial insurances. So they don't sell their own insurances. They're like a wholesaler, and they get you the best deal. All you need to do is literally send an email, and then all of a sudden they calculate it for you and they'll tell you. Also, under the business insurance tab, it'll be very similar to the lawyer people, where if you are an artist, if you're a restaurant industry, if you're in whatever industry, these are the types of insurances that you might want to think about. So super easy to get a quote with them. And also price point wise, they're very, very competitive, because it's not their own insurances, so they're really looking to get the best deal for you. So, I mean, I never thought I would get so excited about insurance. But trust me, it's a cool company. Okay, so there comes a point, especially if you're a mobile business, that you will need to track your mileage, because mileage is tax deductible when you're using it for business. And in order to track your mileage, you can either look at the numbers in your mileage odometer, whatever it's, the pedometer, and keep a notebook, or you can get MileIQ. MileIQ is basically an app. It has a free version of it where you can just track your mileage, and it's so easy to use, and you're able to get like exact mileage, so that you're able to and store the mileage, so that if you ever get audited, you have the storage there, so that you're able to track your mileage and claim it on your taxes, so that you save taxes as much as possible. Okay, we talked about this just. So, and I think you guys you've heard about this, but accounting, invoice, payroll, all of that, we need to start thinking about it in any stage of our business, but especially when you're starting to sell and you're like, ooh, I need to keep track of my sales, my expenses, especially expenses, because you want to deduct as much as possible. You don't want to pay a lot of taxes. So you need to be very organized in how you keep all that information. The best way to do it is through a cloud-based system. Wave is Canadian. I didn't know. They're actually from Toronto. So Wave is a free software. QuickBooks Online, it's a paid software. Usually accountants tend to know QuickBooks, but a lot of them are already getting up to speed with Wave, just because it's very strong in the market now, just because businesses need to save money. And with both types of accounting systems, you have the option of being able to invoice directly from there, send the invoices to your customers, and turn on the credit card payment feature so that your customers can pay you via credit card. Okay, so let's get to the not so fun but must know part. So CRA, we need to make sure that as business owners, we keep CRA happy. Sometimes there's going to be parts of our business that we may not know how to do, especially, say, for example, I want to hire someone. What are some of the things that I should know when I'm hiring someone? Or I want to remit, my taxes, my HST. I need to charge for HST now. How do I send that money back to the government? So Canada Revenue Agency actually has a video business library. Who knew, right? And they're actually short little videos that will actually teach you very good information about how to have your accounting in check for your business. So they're not necessarily the most fun videos. I mean, it is CRA, but they're short, which is good. They're short and straight to the point on how do you do source deductions if you have an employee, and they walk you through the steps. So they have a business video gallery. Who knew? Okay. CRA also has an app, has a business app. So basically this app is for corporations and sole proprietors. You can download it on your website, on your phone, and this is where you can keep track of tax season for your business, what needs to be paid, so on and so forth. So it's actually a nice little handy app. It's free to use. Just download it, enter your business information, and you will see. It's almost like if when you log into the CRA website for your personal, that if you get messages, from CRA for your personal tax stuff, you'll get the emails there and the notifications. But for some reason, they don't have an app for personal CRA, personal taxes, but they have it for business. So if the CRA ever wanted to get a hold of you for your business stuff, you will get the notifications there. So it's just an easy way to make sure that you keep the CRA man away from you. Once you start getting bigger, especially if you are charging HST, if you're incorporated, you're going to find out that there's going to be, it's not going to be all in the same calendar and at the same time. You're going to pay corporate taxes at one time, HST to the government, remit HST at another time, remit, if you have employees, their taxes at a different time. So there is another app that actually helps you keep track, and it sends you notification on when everything is due, so you don't forget. They make it really easy to notify you that you owe them money and when. So it's business tax reminders. And then at this point, and actually at any point, this book is awesome. I adore this book. Also super easy to read. It's called Profit First. And basically, this is a way so that your business is always declaring a profit. So it teaches you how to separate your money. So let's say you get paid $10, and it tells you step by step. So once you get those $10, this is what you need to do so that you always have a profit. It's a very, again, super easy to read book. It teaches you a little bit about accounting for your business in a very easy to understand way. And it gets you into the habit of saving within your business so that you always have money for marketing. You always have money for, business operations, but then you also have money at the end so for your profit. So it's actually a really, really, really good book that I recommend. Any questions? No? Okay, so now let's say you're growing. You're good. You're like, things are awesome. What else can I do? So marketing, and this is actually used for any step of the way. Most of you already know most of these applications. But for marketing, Hootsuite, Hootsuite is one of many. Sometimes you have an Instagram account, a Facebook account for your business, a Pinterest account, and then maybe you use LinkedIn. So you're able to connect all of those and be able to create content for all of those accounts in one. And you can tell them at what time you want all of the schedule your content. So Hootsuite is really cool.
Is it free?
I think up to 3 accounts is free. 2 or 3 accounts is free. Pardon?
Like
Platforms, yeah. 2 to 3 platforms is free. If you are looking for photographs, you don't have money yet to hire a photographer, don't just swipe pictures off the internet. You would have to go to a website that has license-free photography. So Pexels is really good, where you can download images of models or whatever you want your website to have pictures of. They're high resolution, they're professional pictures, and they're free. You can use them for all of your marketing material. MailChimp, if you're looking for newsletters, if you want to create newsletters for your audience, MailChimp has a free version. And Canva, I think we all know Canva. If you don't know Canva, go to Canva. You can create logos, postcards, everything. You can create absolutely everything on Canva, one of my favorite tools.
when I first started, it was just so good and secret.
I know. So now everybody knows Canva, but Canva has some new features, which I'm going to talk about right now. So I love AI. I adore AI and using AI to kind of help build the business. I'm going to talk, Canva's at the top. I'm not going to talk about ChatGPT yet, but Canva is actually incorporating some new features where it's using artificial intelligence to help you with your branding. It's for the paid version, but the paid version is like $14, I think. It's not that expensive. And you can actually create all of your branding. So how it works is that you upload a picture that you like, that you're like, this represents the colors that I like and the type of imagery that I like my brand to represent. And through that one picture, Canva, using artificial intelligence, will create your branding package. We'll create the fonts, we'll create the colors, we'll give you logo suggestions. It's crazy how good it is. So from a picture, you just give them something from a picture and then it'll do its AI thing. And then all of a sudden, give you suggestions for your branding package.
Yeah, it'll go both ways too.
Mm-hmm.
You can if you're looking for something specific, you can literally be like dog, hat, polka dots, and they'll give you that.
Yeah, it's insane. So so if you're not a paid subscriber of Canva, but your business is growing, it might be a good investment because it's like $14 a month for the power. And I think this is just the beginning, I think, for Canva. I think Canva is gonna morph into also kind of like ChatGPT stuff, where you're gonna be able to create content from Canva as well, like copy content. But check out Canva. If you're not a paid subscriber, like that's fine. But if your business is growing and it could afford the paid subscription, I would say check it out because it's worth it. ChatGPT, love it, hate it. If you're a teacher, you probably hate ChatGPT because your students are using ChatGPT to write their assignments. My husband is a teacher, and he's like, this is a really good essay from somebody that's not a very strong student. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with ChatGPT, if you've never used ChatGPT, get on it. It is incredible. So basically, you can say, hey, ChatGPT, write an Instagram post for my beaded jewelry store. And it will literally create the post with hashtags and emojis. So all you do is customize it to your needs. If you didn't like something, you can delete it and whatever, copy, paste, boom.
Canva does have a small feature like that
Yes.
right now that I've used for creating lists for content on Reels and things like that.
So this will write the reels, right? This will write the everything. It will. So I've used it for it's nuts what it can do. So basically, and it's free to use, which is really cool.
Girl, I thought you've been doing all these posts on your own.
ChatGPT.
Up in her social media game, I noticed.
Yeah, no, ChatGPT is the bomb. So you know how sometimes you get disgruntled customers that send you an email and they're like, oh my God, why is your stuff so expensive? Right? Or why is it taking so long? Or they're complaining. And when you're in the middle of reading that email, obviously your adrenaline spikes, and then you might get a little angry because you're like, because my work is worth it, and you want to reply something snarky. Or exactly. First of all, don't. Second of all, go to ChatGPT. So what I've done in the past, what I've done in the past is I've literally prompted ChatGPT, write an email reply to a customer that doesn't want to pay what my product is worth, or to an unhappy customer, and it literally will write an email. You can tell it, write it in a serious tone, write it in a casual tone. You can tell all the prompts, and it will literally write it for you.
You could also can I install that into my brain?
I know, we can install it in our brains.
You could also prompt it to be like, respond to the email about to attach with blah blah blah, and then at the end you attach that email.
Yeah, you just copy paste your email, and yeah. And then, or let's say you wrote something, like a first draft of something, and you're like, oh my God, this is horrible. I did that 2 days ago. I'm like, oh my God, this sounds so lame. So I copy pasted it on ChatGPT, and I said, rewrite sounding smarter. And it did. And it did. It rewrote it sounding smarter.
Quality, like, do you have to?
The quality is amazing. It is crazy. It's amazing. Or like, let's say if you're somebody that is working on a very technical thing, that you want to talk to customers that are not technical, you can copy paste the document and say, write it as a smart grade sixer. And it'll dumb it down to a smart grade 6 grade level. Exactly. Exactly. So you can, and it's all about the prompts that you give it. The other day I was also playing around with it, and I was like, okay, create a business for an app that will do special scheduling for, a gym. And it basically created a whole business. And I'm like, okay, write the business plan for this. And it started creating the business plan. And then create a 5-page website for this. And it starts creating the website with the copy and everything. It's insane that you can create your website through ChatGPT. Not the graphics, the content.
I did. You said give me 5 TikTok ideas for lash, like.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it's like speed out ideas. I use Canva for jewelry care, beaded jewelry care tips, and it like gave me 8.
Amazing. Does it give it to you with graphics?
Maybe if I asked.
Maybe, eh? Because it's Canva, so I'm curious. I think Canva is just gonna blow everybody out of the water. I think they're just hitting the surface on what they're doing with AI. But yeah, I think I'm a big proponent of AI, using it to enhance your business, to enhance your writing, to improve your website, like the copy of your website. Sometimes people say, hey, can you send me a bio of yourself? And you're like, oh my God. You know, if you guys start doing like speaking engagements or interviews or whatever, literally just write a bio and then you put your name and it'll scan the web to see what's out there and it'll create a mini bio for you. It's insane. It's crazy. It's like mind blowing. Trust me. I think Zach uses ChatGPT.
Should I do like write a bio about Bougie Bird?
Yeah.
And that.
Write a company. Yeah.
Full Bougie Bird.
A company summary or a bio of Bougie. Yeah. And it'll scan it.
Bougie Bird from Ottawa by.
Yeah.
There's only one Bougie Bird.
And you can even tell her, write it in a very casual, using a very casual language or using a cheeky language if you want to be cheeky.
Prompt to write this as if you were Elon Musk. So like it would like take like his type of creative thinking.
It's crazy, right? Like you're like blown away. I know. So ChatGPT is crazy. Use it for good, not for evil. Don't use it for assignments or for essays because you're going to drive your teachers crazy. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, they can tell if they know you.
They use the proofing websites now, I think.
But the thing is that ChatGPT doesn't do plagiarism. It creates unique content. That is the crazy thing. It's a lot that there's a lot of talk right now with marketing and communication teams about it and like creative teams because everything is using artificial intelligence to do
They're
it.
gonna have to basically learn ChatGPT inside out and then market that they can prompt things that you would think of.
Mm-hmm.
And then the computer wouldn't be able to.
The other day I was asked to do a speech and I'm like drawing a blank, right? And I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, write a 10-minute speech on and then the topic, and then it wrote it. I didn't use it verbatim, but there were some parts that I was like, this is really good, copy paste. Like to get like ideas, especially when you have a writer's block or something, it's awesome. So use it for your copy, for your marketing, for your social media posts, for your website copy, for information about your business, to reply to emails. There's just so much power in it.
Imagine book writers.
Book writers, yeah.
Give me a 3-sentence book idea that I can write about.
Yeah,
No, they'd be like, give me a 10-page children's book about a purple elephant
true.
who wants
Or give me like the guideline or the,
right now.
yeah. It's crazy. It's insane, the power of AI. But, and even if we want to, if you want to get even crazier, there is something called Simplified. So Simplified is basically using artificial intelligence for graphic design, for videos, content writing, and social media publishing. So let's say you want to create a logo. Simplify, you can say, I want to create a logo for this company using these types of colors, and it will use artificial intelligence to help you create the branding and the logo.
So Canva and ChatGPT together.
Correct. Which I think that's where Canva's going. So, but Simplified is getting there first. But yeah, so the Simplified does have a free version. I'm not sure, but then it jumps to a paid version. Obviously, the paid version gives you more power. But yeah, so check it out. It's nuts. And then if you are into podcasting, or if you've ever tried to venture into podcasting, you will probably know that taping the podcast is the easy part. Editing and like the post-production part is the hardest. And that's where the majority of podcaster wannabes, they end up not doing it because it's a lot of work. And if you want to outsource the editing and the cleaning up the podcast and whatnot, it's expensive. So Podcastle It's a new tool where it helps you fine tune your podcasts using AI. So you basically upload your recording. You can say, take away all the ums and ahs, and it'll cut all the ums and ahs from the podcast. It's insane. Or if there is like a background dog a dog barking in the background, it'll clean up the sound, and all automatic. And it's less expensive than hiring someone. So these are just a few tools that you can use to help you with your business. Again, use artificial intelligence for good, not evil. Can't stress that enough. But definitely use them to support you, to create more content. 'Cause sometimes, you don't know what to write, to help you with your...
That's a good idea. Like, I want to relate this post to this.
Exactly.
Literally the writing it part.
Exactly. So now you can just copy paste or whatever and then do a post about this, and it'll do it for you. And then you can just tune it, tweak it. It's like a good starter, right? You're like, oh, I like this. I don't like this. I'm going to fine tune it. So
Right, how wearing handmade jewelry boosts confidence.
exactly. And you can write you a blog post, a 1,000-word blog post that you can put in your website to help you with your SEO.
I don't do anything.
And you can even say, and make sure that the language is cheeky so that it's like fun and casual. And then you just upload it onto your website using keywords. You can tell it what keywords to use. It's crazy.
See, and I have so much ideas that I don't want to write down.
Okay, so if your business is an Instagram business, like where you rely on Instagram, and you are good with Instagram, but you're like, how can I generate more sales with Instagram? There is a lot of fluff out there. First of all, there are a lot of courses that teach you how to use Instagram for business, and a lot of them are very fluffy, and I don't like fluff. But I stumbled upon this course, and it's literally like a 7-day little course that is free. You sign up for it, it's free, and every day they send you maybe it's like a 5-minute video, 5 to 10-minute video. And every day it goes through the different parts on what to do to improve your business through Instagram. And it's not just sales, but how to create partnerships with different brands, like collaboration partnerships through different brands, how to monetize your business, your knowledge, so on and so forth, using Instagram. And it's again, I've taken a lot of Instagram trainings. This is sort of the holy grail for me, because it's actionable, straight to the point, and it works. So highly recommend it. Again, you may want to take a picture just so that you can see the link. It's one of those links that is hidden. Yeah, the name is kind of free. It's kind of weird, but it's one of those courses that you have to really dig through this specific website to actually find it. And I don't even know if it's public still, but the link still works. So I would say, take advantage of it. It's free, and it's a fun little course too. Calendly, I think we all know Calendly. No? Okay. I thought that I was going to take it out, actually, because I'm like, I think they probably know. Okay. So if you're in a business where you need to schedule meetings, or this is really good for consultants, for makeup artists, anybody who needs to schedule clients. Like if you need to schedule clients and you don't want to go back and forth on trying to set up, actually you would be really good too for your business, for your own work too, even. For your life. Because sometimes trying to set up a time with somebody else to go have a coffee or for a chat or for something, the back and forth can take forever, right? And so basically what you do is you connect your Google Calendar or your iCalendar to Calendly. You can block. You're like, I don't want to be booked on Mondays or Fridays, but I'm available from this time to this time every day. And Calendly will create a unique link for you that you can actually give to people so that they can book themselves in your calendar. So you don't have to go back and forth. So basically, and they won't see your calendar, like what you have, but they will only see she has available these days from this time to this time. And then they click on the hour or the time that you're available. They enter their email and they enter their information. And you can even, if you have a Zoom account or a Google, I don't know if they do Google Meets, you can connect it and they will get a Zoom link.
No way.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this is how I organize my life, because I have clients from different organizations, and some of them I see in person, some of them I see online. This is a lifesaver, so that I'm like, I don't have time to go back and forth. There's a lot of like, ooh. Yeah, so this is just great to a booking system for your own life. And to avoid the back and forth and just to be more seamless. Because sometimes you're like, you tell somebody 3 different times, and then they take forever to get back to you, and then that's gone and that's not available. So this is always taking a look at your calendar in real life.
Don't take this out because we didn't know.
We didn't know.
Okay.
And it's so funny because just before this, I was talking with Zach, because that's our problem right now,
Okay.
trying to connect with someone else.
Here?
Well, another Indigenous
Organization.
person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not too bad
the
You must know.
the only thing about this though is that you have to make sure that if you are the account owner of Calendly, you have your own Calendly account, that you are using your calendar online, right? So basically what I do is every time I have an appointment of any kind, I just drop it on my iCal, because I have an iPhone. So I just drop it up on my iCal so that Calendly knows, okay, nope, she's busy. So I'm very diligent about, as long as you're updating your own calendar, this is a lifesaver, because it's always reading when you're available, when you're booked, when you're not booked. And you just give whoever you want to book an appointment with, or whoever wants to book an appointment with, just give them that link and they can book themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. Like,
Yeah. This saved a lot of back and forth for my life.
yeah, like not only the business, I'm thinking like my personal life,
Exactly.
my mom life, my.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can have one slot per week that you're gonna be free.
I know.
It's so funny because I was actually telling Zach yesterday. I was like, I need more time in a day.
Yeah. But this is great. As an organization tool, it's a fantastic. And that's good. I'm glad, because I was going to take it out. Because I think, well, maybe people already know about this. So once you start growing a team, Slack is a really good communication tool, because texts can get lost. WhatsApp messages can get lost. So Slack is a great way to kind of keep everything organized. It takes a little bit to get used to at the beginning if you're not familiar with Slack. But just as a reference, I own 2 retail stores, one in Canada and one in Hintonburg. So very far from each other, very different staff. But I was having a problem where my staff were not really communicating. I wasn't creating that culture of collaboration, because there's a lot of knowledge between both staff. So I implemented Slack for the both locations to communicate with each other. And if somebody found something cool about a specific product, they now have a way to communicate from store to store and share information and share cheers for peers. And, we have silly little things in our Slack. Or if somebody's sick and needs to get, covered, then so they kind of can communicate with each other. So this is really cool. It's good to enhance collaboration and communication. This is for like once you're growing your business, a good communication tool. And at this point, when you're scaling your business, this is an awesome book. It's called Built to Sell. Also a really fun book. Very easy to read. Really, really, really easy to read. Actually, the audiobook is better than the I love audiobooks. The audiobook is really good. But it's just a book that teaches you how to build something worth selling let's say you want to build an empire, but you don't want to work the empire forever and ever. So it kind of starts putting ideas on how to automate things, how to delegate things, what are some of the things that you really should be focusing on. But it follows the story of a graphic design agency made up. So it's an easy to read with lots of examples, like good examples. So it's a fun. It follows a story, easy to read, interactive, lots and lots of gold nuggets. Like, it's a fun book. And then at the end of the day, once you get to a point, and actually this is good for any stage, it's getting more popular now with entrepreneurs. We're used to going to networking events, thinking about how can we sell more? How can we go to that networking event and sell more? But I would challenge you to think about how going to a networking event, and then how can I meet another successful entrepreneur and learn from them, right? Because there's a lot of power and a lot of knowledge in a room full of entrepreneurs. Not necessarily about just trading business with each other, but it's trading knowledge with each other. Like, what worked for you in marketing? What worked for you here? I've messed up here. How can you help, or how can we help each other? So taking a look at business peer groups, mastermind groups, ADAAWE is awesome because, you have it all in here already. But if you're not fortunate to live near ADAAWE, try to look for business peer groups or mastermind groups in your community. There are some. There's like the B&E or there's a whole bunch of business networking groups where the idea is not to sell to each other, but to learn from each other. So it's a different type of networking. It's a very different type of networking, but I find that it's a more powerful networking because you get to learn from other entrepreneurs that have been there, done that, and then you get to share your knowledge with the ones that are starting as well. So this is I didn't know about this until much later in my entrepreneurship life, and this made a big difference in growing, maturing as an entrepreneur. And that's it. These tools are live. Use them. Use them and have fun with them. Thank you very much over there at home.